Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of E-Heroes. For those keeping count, this is episode 268, and my guest hasn't been on the podcast for a long time. I mean, way back in episode 102. So I'm bringing back Brandi Veil, the Yes Girl, and we're going to talk about love, money, and technology. So thank you, Brandi, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's an honor. I'm always attracted to people who are living on the edge like you.
Oh, I'm on the edge, all right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, my personality has become my brand. I'm very sarcastic. I put it in my books, and people either love me or hate me. But as you came on, you noticed right away that I'm a little bit more energetic. I'm a little bit lighter. I mean, I've dropped 40 pounds since COVID, so I feel healthier. Uh, Things don't get me down as much as they used to.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
when it comes to money, which is, every entrepreneur's dream to make a little bit more, um, I think there's still a lot of people out there that struggle with the idea that one, they need to charge more for who they are, for the value that they bring to the table, their knowledge. And, the whole embracing technology, I had this love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, with AI. I'm just experimenting with it. I don't know much about blockchain, but I'm glad you're here because you're going to help us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me back. It's always nice to come back home after we've been gone for a while. So there's interesting that you're talking about your weight. And if we think of a measurement of anything, as everything is math, and if you are storing any emotions or you're storing, or like I say, story is what you're storing, is a story, it's a belief, it's an idea. You put it on and wait.
Mm-hmm.
And the heavy we are, the more physical heaviness will show up. It can also show up in other things, right? So storage in your house. Why didn't I move those clothes? Why does that box still sit there? How come I have all these things in my closet? Store, 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 store. Because what happens is there's a stagnation of energy. And my background being a holistic practitioner, a high level intuitive, working with counsel around the world, looking at new systems of operations. That's how I got into technology. But ultimately, it's because I have this innate fascination with the unseen realm.
Mm-hmm.
And this unseen realm has been talking to me for a long time. And so I somehow know if somebody is wearing on extra pounds. I always ask them, hey, how's everything going?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did ask you
Mm-hmm.
in that episode, like, hey, maybe it was off camera, but hey, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
We had that talk. But it's nice to see you more energetic because when the weight lifts, or when you clean out the basement or the closet, you make room for what? New things,
Mm-hmm.
new horizons, new projects, new people,
Yeah.
all kinds of things emerge. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and I think sometimes, in fact, I look at other people, and this morning I had a conversation with someone, and they said, Rob, I'm not this big marketer that everybody thinks I am. I have problems. I'm like, well, okay, we all have problems. And they said, I have financial problems. I'm almost dead broke. And I'm like, what? How can that be? And but it's the world we're living in. Everybody puts everybody up on a pedestal. And even my clients who are lawyers and doctors, school has taught them, hey, you're up here on a pedestal. Your clients are down here. You talk down to them. And I'm like, no, you can't. You got to be on the same level. Otherwise, they're not going to understand you. They're not going to respect you. And I
Mm.
think sometimes entrepreneurs get overstretched. They spend money on things that they don't need. They don't remember to save, and then they put all that pressure back on themselves. And you know, just like the person this morning, you know, they're facing bankruptcy. And I'm like, okay, this is wild. I just, how did this happen?
Let's go into maybe reverse engineer some of the mindset. So yesterday I had my podcast is called YES 30 Abundance and Wealth with Brandi Veil. And yes is spelt with the yen, the euro, and the dollar sign. It's significant. And I say that because of the subconscious mind. And we have a relationship with crossing over to different countries and money and monetary systems, right? We were taught the American dollar, right? This is it. But when I've been traveling the world and I've seen the value of different countries and how people serve and what entrepreneurship looks like over there, it's very different. But it's not so different that we can't get it. We all build a house with a foundation, right? First, we have to have the ground level. Then we put the 2x4s in. We have 4 corners. And then we build whatever the consensus around that is. If we don't have the foundation of knowledge about money or finance, especially investment, then we're stuck doing what our parents taught us or what the school systems taught us. So what I do with entrepreneurs, and especially on YES 30, 30 stands for not just Web3, it's subconscious, but it's 30 thinking, 30 mindset. It's not your home, it's not your school or your institution, it's your community. So, and it's also this place of possibility. So 30 is possibility thinking. Possibility, not probability, but possibility. Well, what can I do? Go back and figure out your foundation. If you have no money coming in, what is the foundation? Why did you become an entrepreneur? Why do entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs? Is it to make money? Well, because you don't make money as an entrepreneur. You make money as an investor. So I started working with entrepreneurs, teaching them investor mindset. So would you invest in your own company the way it's structured now?
Maybe.
No, but we're all in that same boat. What's the foundation? Do we have all of our numbers working for us? Can we actually give our company to our loved ones so they can inherit an asset? Or is it all scattered? Do we have enough life insurance, right? We talked about something private. So I'm teaching entrepreneurs how to be investors. And if they don't know what investor mindset means, then we have some behind the scenes mindset groups that we're in, and we're hosting events to do that. And who was I to teach? I had been on government assistance. I had lost my event company to the IRS. I had been broken down spiritually, mentally. I had anxiety at my mailbox when I would go there because I had debt collectors. I had a business partner run off with the money of the company that I had from a car accident that was mine. I got broken down, beat up. I'm a beautiful woman who has a good head on her shoulders, and I was just lost. I didn't know what else to do. So ultimately, I had to put myself back through school. So I went and I started like deal flows, right? I was thinking, oh, the men in the world, they can do deal flows. Well, I learned my lesson there too, because men have locker room talk, and Brandy wasn't allowed in those rooms because I didn't have the IQ. I didn't have the EQ, and I didn't know the language of investors. So I went back to school. And when I started learning about, okay, well, this is how the deal flow works. This is what a waterfall is. This is what we need to look up. We have to do due diligence of where we're spending our time. So if we're spending our time in our company as an entrepreneur, or if we're spending our time on projects and we are actually raising capital, would you spend your time or your money on that project? If you won't spend your money, then you shouldn't spend your time.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to when I started my business. I didn't start it because I wanted to make more money, although that was a long-term thing. I wanted freedom. I wanted to call my shots. I wanted to go on vacation when I wanted to, because I was just tired of working for other people that said, you can't take a week off to go on vacation because it's not scheduled.
Right.
Yeah, no. So, I've been doing this for 23 years as my consulting business. Before that, I had a simultaneous company that I ran for 19 years. And, investing in your own self has been the biggest payoff. Yeah, I can invest in other people. I can invest in courses, and I can invest in, but taking the time to invest in yourself, to make yourself mentally, spiritually, and debt free helps reduce all of that stress. And the moment I got to a point where I was like, hey, you know what? I got money in the bank. If I stop working today, I won't have to worry about bills for a couple of years. That just released a lot of that stress. But we're living in a day and age where the average person doesn't even have $1,000 in their savings, and the average entrepreneur has less than $5,000, but most of it is stacked against debt that's already. That's crazy. And so we have to look at these investments, and just like the banks are now, banks are not even paying people 1/10 of 1% for their savings. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you could
we
you
should
could
talk about
you could
that. Yeah.
put it in a CD, maybe making 5%, but if you have the flexibility, invest it in something that's greater than that.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's talk.
So access to capital is shifting massively. And what I'm seeing and what I predict is these smaller organizations coming together like funds.
Mhm.
And if we're creating our own fund with people who have track record, obviously, you want to build your fund with a team. If you have no idea what a fund is, I would highly suggest you become your own bank. And how do you become your own bank? You go and you get the money. And
Mhm.
if you don't have the money, you find the people who have the money. But you better have a wonderful idea so that you can build the team that believes, trust in you, and you can serve the greater whole. But
Mhm.
I'm seeing acquisitions in a whole different light. And probably some people are looking at Alex Mosey and
Mhm.
a few of these acquisition companies where these ESOPs, right? These ESOPs are basically you bring together the right team, you look at smaller businesses that are out there, and you begin to look at the valuation, and you have your AUM, which is assets under management, that allow you to go out and raise capital. You don't even need a license.
Mhm.
Originally, I was looking into this because I thought I have been putting all my time into startups. I became the number one, became a CMO for the number one games guild in India, number 20 in the world. They had 35 different games. I
Wow.
had no idea about raising capital,
Mhm.
none. But I was in this position and I thought, all I want to do is help kids
Mhm.
have assets in the future. How do I do that? So I came up with a crazy idea. Oh, we'll teach them on learning games and we'll be able to give them credit for their projects. And so that's moving. But I, I couldn't invest in the company. I could
Mhm.
use my time. So I said, well, create, I need to find money, but I don't want to just give it directly to the company.
Right.
So my strategy was become a syndicate. Syndication didn't need the license. I could actually bring on other people to look at the projects, make sure that they were ready.
Mhm.
And I'm sharing this because I've had to go through such a learning curve to not be the woman in the room with a bunch of men
Mhm.
who then would invest in these projects. And then I was on the sideline. So I had to go through the learning of all the language and all of the tactics in order just to bring in, seed round or small amounts of money. But now I know I'm not working in the startups.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us entrepreneurs see great ideas and we jump on board, but it just doesn't take place.
Right.
So,
I think the one thing I admire about you is that you've taken this time to learn all these things, and you don't say no. You just jump right in. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, they'll overanalyze everything to death, and then they won't make a move at all.
Mm.
And it's like, you overcame this whole intimidation man factor. And sometimes I'm in a room with a lot of smart women, and I'm like, I gotta leave.
Yeah,
So.
yes came up because when you say yes, right? Yes, 3-0. When you say yes, anything's possible. You open yourself up.
Mhm,
If you have a limited mindset, right? A stuck mindset, you stay in a certain paradigm. Maybe working, may not. Some of the wealthiest people on this planet say stick to one thing,
mhm,
right? They say stick to one thing. But we're living in an abundance economy where we have saturated information constantly coming at us saying that we need to do, look, or be and have this.
mhm,
And the problem I see is that we forget what's inside.
mhm,
Why you? Why this? Why now? You spoke about some people don't even have $1,000 in their bank account. Why are we focused on that? No, no, really. I mean, there's a breakthrough moment. Why are we focused on some of those people not having $1,000 in their bank account? You can't change the world. You can only start here. I was trying to change everything else outside of me. I was given a lot of information as a healer. I was downloading information. Wow, quantum fields, energetics, biological, light fractals. I mean, the list goes on. I didn't know what to do with it.
mhm,
I had to stop opening myself up so much that I had to get anchored and foundational. I'd go back to the roots. Focus. Now, when you have focus and you're right here, then you can make wise decisions. But if we're trying to get the money, that's an old paradigm. It's an old program. It's not trying to get the money. It's going, what am I really passionate about? What do I serve us, which is service, but how do we serve us?
mhm,
How do we serve each other? And then you have systems that you create that can help you monetize that service. And you grow your team of like-minded individuals that support and value you, even in your weakest moments.
mhm.
That's the life that I see in the 3-0. And that's the life of being your own bank, having your own team. So you're not working, you're creating.
Right.
You have a setup. We have everything at our fingertips. But if
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on in here, you're lost. You're going to be right there again.
And you talk about community, and I think for me it was the shift in making more abundance was thinking about the community, thinking about my legacy. What am I going to leave behind? And over the last 10 years, producing over 43 books, not only for myself, for my clients, and going into the next year, we already have 7 books slated to help others. To me, yeah, I was known for as this guy that helps with marketing and SEO and social media. But now more people are gravitating towards me and saying, "Hey, help me with my book because I want to I want to help the community. I want to contribute to my legacy. I want to be that authority, but I need someone like you to help me with my book." And so, for me, it was getting away from creating the micro content, the social media, the blogs, and creating more of the macro content, which is the stuff that's going to stay on the shelves longer and, and
Hmm.
and leave a lasting impression. I mean, micro content is great, but it's got a 3-second shelf life.
You're touching on some powerful points. And so, anyone out there listening, I just came back from 30 days in Guatemala at our book retreat. Did you know I have a book retreat that I co host?
I did not know that. Now I
Yeah.
do.
Yes. So a part of my service offering is to work with entrepreneurs, get their personal why out there, and then have them say yes. And the second that they say yes, I do spotlights on our podcast, and we do interviews and so on. But a part of that process is bringing them through their rites of passage. And their rite of passage comes out in the book
Mhm.
because, as you know, writing a book, it's a phenomenon what happens. You're unlocking all these dormant realities within your cellular system. You're picking up memories and stories, and you're talking about future, you're talking about past. You're putting it in this book, and on the macro level, those are microcosms,
Mhm.
right? So you on the macro, you have the story that you pulled out all this information, and you're unlocking yourself, and you're also healing yourself in the
Mhm.
process.
Yeah, because every book I put out is therapy for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that content, as a strategist, I'm able to put it into the interviews like you, and moving these smaller snippets through so that other people are having value, because it
Mhm.
doesn't cost that much money. It's just how much value can you get out of this macro into the micro,
Mhm.
and then attract more of the right kinds of people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now we talked about money and we talked about technology, but where's the love come from?
Oh, yeah. So, well, love is abundance. And this mindset that we are supposed to go to work. I asked yesterday on my show, I said, what is the first thing that you think of out of these three topics? Family, health, or finance? Which one, when you first wake up in the morning, what first comes into mind?
For
And
me,
what about, yeah, for you?
family.
Yeah, because our value, you're a values based person.
Well, and I wouldn't do what I do without family. There would be no motivation.
Mhm. Yeah. And ironically, everybody had a different answer. If somebody is struggling with finance, what do you think they're going to be thinking about?
Money every day.
And what do you think's going to happen if they're worried or subconsciously feeling like they don't have money?
Yeah,
They're
this
going
this
to law attraction,
mhm.
create fear,
and
doubt, worry.
and the biggest, I think the biggest form of divorce is the arguments over money.
Mhm. Communication.
Mhm.
There's so much about love, but at the core principle of love is complete surrender and exiting who you think you are for who you truly are,
Mhm.
which is an unlimited supply of intelligence seeking its way through you. And when you understand that or understand that, you can become that which is the highest form of intelligence itself,
Mhm.
because it's seeking its way through you, meaning you're listening, you're getting out of your own way, you're open, you're in 3O mindset, and now it's seeking its way. So it's going to find you. Little trinkets of information will find you when you ask. Ask and it is given. But when you really fall in love with yourself and you're an open pillar, you get into a state of being.
Mhm.
And the principles of being is the awareness that you are here to share. You are an overflow of abundance. And whomever comes into your space now generates that love, intelligence. You will never ask why that person's in your life again. You'll
Mhm.
know because you
And
know
It's
who.
it's funny because you said here to share, and 10 years ago, my very first book was called Share.
Yeah.
And the first chapter in this story or in the book was called Share Your Story. And so it all comes back around. People need to know who you are. You need to be able to share you know, and I understand that there's a lot of content out there.
Hmm.
And for me, for over the last decade, I've been freely giving that content out there. And I know that there's a lot of people that say, hey, let's put it all behind a Patreon wall and charge people. Well, how are they going to know to buy from you if they don't know what the content is to begin with? There's no incentive. So, to me, it's always been about sharing. It's not been about the immediate gratification of money that'll come. I want people to know about me, to trust me, to feel that I'm relevant in their life somehow.
Mm. Well, you've definitely been doing that, but you have 200 plus shows but you love it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it if you didn't love it. So let's go in the context of love, money, and technology. So love is this overflow of abundance that
Hmm.
is not monetary. Remember this. People mistake what your purpose is here. We monetize because we give value. We
Hmm.
monetize because we have wisdom. And the only way that you have wisdom is because you've gone through the trenches. Yeah. You've learned. When you love something, you love communicating, you're giving value. Well, what's value? What's value? What's value to you?
What's value to me?
Hmm.
Oh, and giving up my knowledge, training the next generation.
Hmm. Leaving an impact, giving
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
like teaching. Yeah. So value is patterns over time
Hmm.
equal value. Patterns over time. You're doing this repetitious. You can do this in your sleep. And so what you're doing is you're providing value as a service, right? So you're serving a community. People forget we aren't in sales. Like we don't do sales.
No, I
We
don't think so.
service. Well, we're serving. Right? Somebody, you're the lock and the key. The law of reciprocity states that ask and it is given. You give, you receive.
Hmm.
Right? The abundance keys, which is my book. So, Algorithm of the Soul is the title, but the abundance keys, unlocking your inner wealth, your true inner wealth. The infinite code goes like this:
Hmm.
infinity. Yeah. So if you are here and the other person's here and you give to them, it's actually a cycle of life. And then they give back. So you have this infinite code. Law of reciprocity is what you give, you receive equal or more in value. So how do you do that in like I need $1,000 tomorrow? No, this is where people are, right? So I need $1,000 tomorrow. I need to actually do certain patterns over time to get a result.
Hmm.
If you have squirrel mentality, porpoise, you are not going to ground that pattern over time.
Hmm.
So, I help teach in my executive coaching and mindset groups these patterns is really who are you doing business with and why are you doing business? Core mentality is what's the foundation? Now let's leverage that. Well, what are the assets that you have? You have no assets? Well, let's build some assets. Great. Let's do a funnel. Funnels are great only if you know that you're not trying to make this massive, like, that's old world.
Yeah.
New world is small circles of
Hmm.
power, of masters, and build your team. And then you collaborate.
Hmm.
So the banking system of tomorrow, which is now, is these small, tight powerhouse funds that are built by the team that you created
Hmm.
because you're doing the laws that work. Mark my word, I'm usually about 10 years advanced, and this is not good for instant gratification. But, that's why I got into crypto.
Yeah.
That's why I saw blockchain and transparency and value systems that could be used in this new world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
blockchain powers a lot of things, and I think it scares some people. But just like with AI, it's not. I think we look at AI thinking, oh, it's going to take over humanity. To me, it's a tool, and you have to understand, just like a carpenter uses a hammer or a screwdriver or a saw, AI is there as those tools to help you be more efficient, to, communicate a little bit differently.
It's gonna make America great again.
There you go.
I have a thing. Oh my gosh, I love AI.
Mhm.
I'm a daredevil. I'm like just a dare angel.
Well,
I
I have, and truth be told, I do have a Chat GPT account. I do it because I want to be able to see what it can do, what it can't do. And there's been a lot of things where, it's pushed out some great stuff for me. And I'm looking at, wow, this is pretty good. And then there'd be some things I'm like, what was ChatGPT on drugs or what? Because it doesn't make any sense. And the whole pictures, forget it, because they hopefully
okay,
one day they'll do it better. But
Rob, come on. You know how pioneer it, like we are building consciousness through technical advancements. S- Speak to me from a quantum level. I'll get really weird with you right now.
okay,
Yes, weird is good. Weird
I I,
suggesting
I
something.
like weird.
Well, by definition, weird is suggesting something supernatural. Look it up. So we are the AI. We are. I'm telling you this because I have been through a lot of teleportation. I have experienced the outer rim. I have gone and I have seen the world. Remember, I was in a car accident. I left my body 16 years. I had a spirit that was living inside my body that taught me a lot of things.
Wow.
Yeah. We are the AI. We are the quantum field right here. We are the most advanced civilization with new language. We think that technology is outside of us, but we are it. So what's happening is we are using these apparatuses like the computer to translate, trans-relate, translate intelligence. We're actually creating the nodes itself. I don't want to be too weird because then people are like, who did you have this crazy woman on?
Oh,
but
I've had crazy people on the show.
but we are the intelligence. So imagine, and you can put two phones side by side and have Chat GPT audio, because you can do this now.
Mhm.
Have them have a conversation with each other. It's beautiful. I'm so excited about this. It's weird. We've never seen it before. There's a whole new level of data mining that never existed.
Right.
I just watched Microsoft CEO and NVIDIA CEO talk to each other about what's to come. And I thought, man, if you are in fear mode about the new world, you're gonna be you're gonna need medicine
Hmm.
because it's moving so fast,
Hmm. Yeah,
and you get to learn it. I think what's happening, Rob, is we're pushing humankind to get out of their own way faster than the speeding light because
and
we don't know what's to come.
well, with AI and the pharmaceutical companies, you're going to be able to have on-demand medicine catered to your DNA,
Yeah,
which to me that's phenomenal.
I was talking about this 10 years ago. It
Hmm.
it's happening. I was talking about crypto before crypto existed. So I'm telling you, I use love, money, and technology to help humans become who they truly are. I mean, we get to have fun.
Hmm.
If you're not having fun, then what are you having?
Right. Yeah. And the funny thing is that when I don't have stress, when I'm just acting as normal as well, normal for me, weird for other people, and I'm having fun, I'm making more money. And that money can be used for all kinds of stuff, you
Yeah.
know. Whereas other people, they stress through their whole day, they have no money, they go home, they get cancer, they die, and it's like, what'd you live for? My whole goal is to be able to create something where I can leave to the next generation, or the fall, 10 generations.
Hmm. Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, let's stop being thinkers and let's start being
yeah.
more of who we truly are, which is unlimited
Mm-hmm.
and passionate. I mean, yesterday one of my guests, she said, if we had more orgasms, then we would be in a more peaceful state.
That'll be a different podcast.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to her. She's great. In fact, she's starting Slay Ventures, Adrian. So I'll make sure that you have her information. And we're working together to help with the macro to the micro marketing systems for our
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah, and I truly believe that every entrepreneur out there needs to focus on their macro instead of their micro, because honestly, you're going to achieve more. Don't worry about the small stuff, let other people do it, but you focus on what's actually going to make you happier.
Yeah, and what feels good. If it doesn't feel good, something's off.
Right. So how do people get a hold of you? Where do they go?
Yeah. So you can find me on LinkedIn under Brandi Veil. Most of my events are there right now for the social audio every week on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I just shifted my brand from being the healing practitioner and mindful business strategist. Like our last episode, it was all about intuition and spirituality. I'm still her. It hasn't changed. But the brand has shifted into the abundance and wealth so that we can master this piece and then also come together. So have people go to my YouTube. We're going to be doing a lot more interviews and sharing wisdoms from a lot more authors and
Well,
entrepreneurs.
and here's the kicker with everything is that you shifted, entrepreneurs need to shift. You know, as I spoke before, years ago, I had a carpet cleaning business. I shifted to become more of a coach, to become, to help people with their marketing. And then I shifted again to write books and help people. I don't know what the next shift is going to be, but I'm prepared
Investor.
for it. Yeah.
You're going to be an investor.
And I think every entrepreneur needs to be able to not only say yes to that shift, but embrace it. Because, had I not started publishing books, had I not wrote that first book, I wouldn't be where I am now. So, I mean, maybe I would, but it would take longer. But just embrace the opportunities that are given to you.
Mhm. I shifted drastically, got into Web3 from being a spiritualist, being a healer, and people had no idea what was going on. They go, I see you in crypto and Web3. What is happening? Where's my healer? I go, we're just something, this is what spirit has designed me for. And
Mm-hmm.
now I see, okay, that's what I needed to do to be here present, to
Mm-hmm.
help these new people who just arrived here on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people you think still are the same people, but they're really different on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know those people. So, whoever's out there listening to this, if you feel you shifted, especially over the last 2 years, 3 years, and you're trying to find your way and you want to do good things out there in the world and you don't know why you shifted, text me, like get on a call with me because I can show you exactly what's trying to emerge from you. Yeah, that's my joy. I love it.
And we'll
Thank you
see
so much.
everyone on the next episode. Adios.